Hey, what's happening? It's the 4 o'clock hour here at Ward Wrestling Live. And, not too often I get to say this, but I think we have I believe we have a wrestling legend on here today. And it's Iowa Hall of Famer, Coach Daryl Weber. He is the owner of Attack Style Wrestling. If you haven't been on there, check it out. Two-time Iowa high school state champ, one-time state placer, the 1996 NCAA champion, three-time All-American at Iowa, pretty good wrestling school there. And he competed internationally from 97 to 2000, winning, multiple medals. And as I said earlier, he's in the Hall of Fame and he's here with me. So it's cool. How are you, Coach Weber? Welcome. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm absolutely honored to have you, sir.
Oh, no, it's great, man. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. This is good stuff you got going on here.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. I'm just trying to, hopefully I'm making a difference. If not, at least I get to talk to people and I'm not staring at the walls here every day. So that's at least fun for me. But I know you have Attack Wrestling. I'm sure you're still out teaching and coaching at times. How has this kind of affected your world?
Well, actually, I don't coach anymore. I do some clinics and stuff like that. So I stepped down from coaching a couple of years ago to kind of focus on some goals. I've been in coaching. So I coached high school either as an assistant or a head coach for 15 years, and 6 years as an assistant, 9 years as the head coach, and then I've always had goals to be an entrepreneur, and I had an opportunity while I was coaching. I started up Attack Style Wrestling for a lot of different reasons, because I knew I wouldn't probably coach forever, and I didn't. I feel very, very fortunate that I grew up in Gilbertville, Iowa, right near Waterloo. Went to Don Bosco High School. It's got an amazing tradition of wrestling. And then I was fortunate to go to University of Iowa, wrestle under Dan Gable. And then I went to coach high school, and I was assistant coach to Kevin Dresser, who is at Iowa. He's the head coach at Iowa State now. And he had won a bunch of state championships. So I learned, I had a great mentor there for high school wrestling. Then I went on and coached, as a head coach for 9 years. And I didn't want to, I've always want to do as much as I can for the sport of wrestling. And I didn't want to just kind of go off into the business world or something like that and just leave everything I learned or could offer behind, just let it vanish. So in this digital age, I've always been interested in the internet and how to, start a business on the internet. And so I did while I was coaching. And then I had an opportunity with some people that bought into my company. My brother is partner with me. My brother Lee, he lives in Iowa City still. He went to Iowa, wrestled at Iowa too. And so we focus on the business now. We've grown the business, and I actually work in the fintech world now too. But I still do clinics. I still focus on the site. I've got people working for me that do a lot of the logistical stuff, but I'm always the kind of the mastermind in what we're putting on there. And we've actually got some really cool stuff that we're going to launch in the fall. But so that's where Attack Style Wrestling came from. And I'm not so much in the trenches every day in the practice room right now. But I know it would be tough right now. That's for sure with what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. And I know we have a question about your Attack Style Wrestling, and Shane, I'll address that for you, buddy. Just give me a few minutes. We will get into Attack Style Wrestling. So you were at Christiansburg High School for a long time, man. Talk about how you built that program. 8 straight team state titles, 42 state champs, 33 state placers. Man, your time there was definitely worth it. And obviously you created an amazing program there. Yeah. And how are they doing now?
Yeah. So actually, there, like I said, I was assistant coach with Kevin Dresser for 6 years. And the first year I was there, we took second. He had kind of got the ball going there. And then the next year we won it. And then we won 14 more in a row. So,
wow.
So he and I won 5 together while I was the assistant, and then I won 9 more. And when we won, I believe it was number 13, we broke the record for most consecutive state titles for any sport in Virginia. Yeah, so that was a big kind of milestone to cross there, and that was with I believe it was 7 freshmen in the lineup. So we won number 12. That tied the record for most for any sport. And then a lot of people didn't think we were going to get the job done. And actually, that was between the 12th and 13th. That's when I started attack style wrestling. And I really, I'm really big at having a system of technique. Like, especially if you're a high school coach and you want a whole program to develop. I think the ideal scenario is for this. Because if you go watch any good high school team, any good wrestler, really, you know what they're going to do. That you just can't stop it. The good programs, they run half Nelsons, or they're going to run a chicken wing, or they're cradlers, or they hit single, whatever it is, they get really good, and that's all from developing a system and really focusing. You got to get the basics down. You got to have a good stance. You got to have good sprawls and defense and all that. But you kind of your attacks. You got to have good everybody does a lot of the same stuff from the bottom position. But yeah, you got to decide what your program is going to get really good on. So, like I said, we won number 12. We were going for number 13 to set the record. I lost a ton of studs a lot of them went to D1 and wrestled. So we had a bunch of freshmen coming in, and I'm like, okay, how am I going to get these guys winning matches quick? They were, I had a good group of kids. But they were going from 8th grade into high school. So I really and I was the type of guy that when I started coaching, even when I was assistant coach, man, I got a whole closet full of notebooks because I'm a note taker and a planner, and so I had developed kind of this teaching system over the years, and I started documenting on video and create videos for the website, and also to kind of really dial in my coaching game, because I knew if I'm going to put something out there for the world, I want it to be the best product I could possibly put out there. That isn't designed for the most, only the most advanced. I didn't want to impress everybody with my cool moves. I wanted to teach a dad that had never wrestled before, or a veteran coach, or a coach, any experience level, how to come in and get kids from A to B, from B to C, from C to D. So how to get I always talk about how do you get the hand raised as fast as possible. If you want to, wrestling's a tough sport to keep kids out for, and you can try to have fun and all this stuff, but the easiest way to keep as many people in the wrestling room as possible is get their hand raised as fast as possible. So, so I that's kind of, what we had going on there. They won when I stepped down, they won, I think 2 or 3 more titles. And the last 2 years they took second, but they still got a great program, great tradition, a lot of great coaches there. So that's kind of the backstory with the high school.
Are you still living in Virginia? Are you back in Iowa?
No, I still live here in Christiansburg. I live in Christiansburg. Yeah.
It feels like from having this show, it feels like West Virginia is like Pennsylvania South for wrestling. Like, it seems like it bleeds right into Virginia, and you guys have some good things going on there.
Yeah, Virginia's got it's got pockets that are really, really, really tough. That can go up there and compete with any of those guys, and then West Virginia, the whole area, especially the north part of West Virginia, that's right up there next to Ohio, like Parkersburg area. They've always been known for good, tough wrestling. So yeah, since I moved to down south in 2000, the summer of 2000, the wrestling down in the whole Southeast has gotten much, much tougher. There's all kinds of tournaments, and you just see more and more good coaches kind of go, starting clubs or just more kids going to D1 and then graduating and starting their own thing up. And just, there's a lot of talent, a lot of.
Yeah, I had the West Liberty coach on earlier today, Max Lacey, and seemed like an awesome guy, man, doing good things over there. But Shane McCall asked, really excited for this interview. The ASW content is absolutely the best. I would love to hear how schools that have followed his curriculum have done in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of coaches that send me emails. I have some people that I got people that run in my support, but they, anything that gets sent in, any questions, they're always passing along to me. But yeah, I mean, I think I've got coaches that send me emails and kind of reports on how, not only winning more, maybe they won their first district title as a program or region title or whatever. I remember one guy sent me an email. He was a dad, his kid was in high school. And I don't know if you know the Merkel is, but he had a kid, his kid was ranked number 2 in the state, and he couldn't beat this number 1 guy because he always got hit on this Merkel. And he sent me an email, and I sent him this video, pointed out where the video is, how to beat the Merkel, and the kid win the state championship. Because he knew how to get out of there. But stories like that, stories on how they got numbers, because I got all kinds of information on how we made sure our numbers were high every year, how we recruited kids out of the school system to come out for wrestling, how we kept them. So yeah, I mean, there might be out there, but I've never gotten an email where, hey, we're doing horrible now that we've used your program. Thank God. I would feel horrible too.
Probably doing good things then, right?
Yeah. So no, but yeah. So I mean, like I said, there's people that they're winning more matches because they got a system now. Maybe the coaches are all on the same page. And like I was saying before, it's ideally your high school program is like, hey, this is what we're going to get good at, and then you scale that down a little bit more and take out a little bit more of the advanced stuff. And this is what the middle school needs to be really good at. And here's what the elementary school, and everybody's got their own flair and their own style. And the coaches need to have some, a chance to be the individuals, but there's got to be kind of a core system. So that, I mean, a lot of coaches say they have that now. And I'm a big proponent of, hey, here's my system that worked really well for me. It's not the only system. Like, you use, if you don't know anything about wrestling, you can use this, just take it and use it. But if you already got some, stuff that works for you, use it as a foundation and put, add and subtract things.
Yeah, maybe, salt and pepper this, salt and pepper that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but it's a good foundation. It gives really good direction. I mean, there's the program that I put together. It has there's a program called the Standards of Learning of Wrestling, and it's broken into different tiers. And each tier you got to graduate. So there's even like a test you can give your kids at the end, so they know that's what techniques they're supposed to master at that point. Almost, it's kind of like a hybrid belt system in martial arts. So yeah, Shane, I've got a lot of feedback over the years, and that's really, especially when I first started, because wrestling is one of those sports. And I'm sure a lot of places are. And when you're an entrepreneur, when you kind of put yourself out there, you get nervous about what are people going to think about me? I'm charging money for wrestling moves and this and that. So that was a big thing. And when I got messages back about how people were really getting a lot out of it, whether, like I said, whether it was winning matches or getting more kids out for the sport or winning parents over or building a fundraising system to get to so the kids could travel, stuff like that. That's what you always got to focus. You always focus on the good that you're doing as an entrepreneur. So yeah.
Awesome. And Shane followed up with, is there a skill or drill that you would recommend as mandatory for every practice? Shane asked the same question on a coach I had on earlier. That coach was like, I tell them to work on finishing single legs is important every practice, because finishing is what kids are missing, right? So something, for example, like that, what would you recommend as a mandatory skill or drill for every practice?
Yeah, I mean, stance and motion. I mean, if I had to say there's like 1 or 2 things that I would integrate into every single practice, And I'm not saying like so these are the type of things that I would always find, like you got to warm up every practice, right? So I would find things that would complement these type of skills in my warm up, or, cause I didn't want to have to like bring the kids in, okay, let's work on our stance today and teach them, they should be able to teach that, but then maybe in your warm up, maybe you jog and you tumble and then you do stance and motion for a while and you watch the guys and if they're tight on it, it looks good, they're low, they're moving their feet, they're understanding things, then every day you got a little check, because even stance and motion, it's the most basic, when you're teaching high school, like you do a camp or you're teaching your high school kids, hey, we got to go over the stance, they're going to roll their eyes. Oh, this is boring. This is stupid. But I'm telling you right now, I talked to college coaches at the beginning of the season, D1 colleges, they're working on their stance. You got to get in shape. You got to get your legs in shape so you can hold that stance the whole time. I mean, even at the end of the season, practice is over, end of practice, you're doing stance and motion. So you're moving your feet in overtime in a tough match and you're not getting lazy, flat footed. When I went to Iowa, I was a 2-time state champ. I wasn't a huge prospect out of high school. I was from a small school, but, I was a 2-time state champ. First, and what we did in college was, in the morning, you would meet a coach and work individually, either strength training or technically. And then the afternoon was practice. And you basically warmed up and just got after it. But the first couple months I was in college, the individual technique was me and my stance working footwork patterns up and down the mat. Had to stay in my stance, work my penetration step, my footwork. So, I mean, stance and motion and making sure they're moving their feet, with sprawl, knockout drills. That's really important. I think I always tried to work in some kind of bottom thing, and it's kind of like stance and motion too. Like there's the basics of the bottom position that all my guys had to be good at. They had to have. We had like a little stand-up series where you tried to stand up, you got beat this way. Maybe the guy grabs your ankle, well, you wheel out, or maybe he chops you, you do it this way. So we had this little core stand-up series that they all had to be good at. They had to have that. And then we would teach other things, switches and rolls and stuff like that maybe some got, some didn't. But I would always, into every practice, I would work some kind of routine into the warm up, into the conditioning, somewhere in practice where they were hitting some kind of, maybe it's stand up against the walls and we're working on explosion. Like, maybe it's, we would have like a chain wrestling, like a solo chain wrestling drill where a guy would do a stand up, hip high, switch, sit out, stuff like that. So I think stance and motion and kind of your core bottom game are two things that would do your team a lot of good to get really good at and work on every single day.
Awesome. And, I want to talk about what it was like to not just, at this point, your relationship with Dan Gable, because I think you obviously wrestled under him, but I saw him at your Hall of Fame speech. So you've definitely been friends probably your entire life now at this point. And I know there's a guy here, Craig Corbett. He said, I'm a big fan of Daryl Weber. I'm a member of Gable Trained and ASW. For those listeners that don't know, what are the differences between the two?
Okay, so Texas Wrestling is kind of like a blog where we put out information. We've got products. There's all kinds of articles and videos, all kinds of free stuff on there. And then you can, if you want to buy something, you could buy, say, escapes and reversals series, or a drilling, like series of drills DVD. So that we have like these one-off products. And then we also have a membership area. It's a monthly membership area where people pay every month, subscription, called gabletrain.com, where we kind of have everything, and there's all kinds of components of that. So there's there's a peaking system. So there's a section where it says, hey, this is what I would be doing in the spring season, in the in season, in the fall, in the summer season. We have complete practices, like the standards of learning are in there. So you have and it's a practice, like it says, okay, here's a speech. because I was real big on every day at practice. I'd always have some kind of speech plan. So there's a speech topic, and maybe some notes on that. Then here's the warm up, and there's videos for everything. Here's the warm up I would do, and the warm up would integrate stuff like I was just talking about. Different drills for the core techniques. Here's the technique. Here's live scenario. Ideas for live wrestling. Here's conditioning ideas, and then each practice builds off itself. So if you start at level 1, the first day you're learning, the most basic techniques, and everything builds. So then once you graduate, then so you have that whole practice system in there. There's strength training in there. There's mental training stuff. Everything.
So one is basically
one's a subscription.
A subscription, and you can. That's pretty cool, tracking system. So that being said, talk about life with Dan Gable.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's one of those things where the older you get, the more you appreciate things like that. When you're kind of going through it, you're probably not sitting there thinking, oh, it's so awesome wrestling for Dan Gable.
That's the coach, I'm the kid.
Yeah, it was torture.
Go wrestle, right?
Probably thinking it was torture more than it was awesome. But as you get older, I look back and it's just, I feel so fortunate to be a part of that program. The guy, just not only Gable, but all the teammates I had, the post grads that were still there training at the Olympic level, the fans, there's not many places you get to wrestle in front of 15,000, 16,000 people on a regular basis during the season. So just the whole experience, you look back as you get older and you really appreciate it and really see how fortunate you were. And also you look back and you realize what an awesome coach Gable was. Because, now that I coach, after I coached for a while, I'm like, oh man, I remember Gable using that Jedi mind trick on me. I didn't even realize it at the time, I live in Virginia. He lives in Iowa. He's super busy. I see him at nationals or at events like that. But I got his number. I can call him up or text him anytime. He'd get back just like that. Anytime you do need something.
It's like, I say something to my kids. I'm like, man, I remember my grandmother telling me that. What the heck? Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm using that.
Like, Grandma was pretty smart.
I hated that when I was 12.
Yeah. You appreciate the wisdom.
Yeah, man, unbelievable. Coach Mike Diglia. Wow, thanks, Dan. Daryl has been one of the influential people in my wrestling career, and he doesn't even know me. This guy is the truth. His platform and content is next level. I encourage any coach to look at what he has to offer. So much knowledge and sharing it with the world. Thanks, Dan, and thanks, Daryl, for coming on. Let's keep growing together. So,
yeah, I appreciate that. That's awesome. That makes it all worth it. I love hearing stuff.
Pretty cool. So, before we get into the 10 questions, I know a few things. I saw Coach Dan Mashik. I hope I didn't mash it up.
Yeah.
Dan Mashik. He was your Hall of Fame. He's the guy that introduced you into the Hall of Fame. So talk about that relationship. Obviously, he's got a special place in your heart.
Yeah. So Coach Mashik was, so I went to Don Bosco High School in Iowa, and it's right outside Waterloo, Iowa. And Waterloo is where Dan Gable grew up. He went to West High. He went to Waterloo West. Him and Coach Mashik went to high school together. So my high school coach and Dan Gable were high school teammates. They grew up together. And then so yeah, it's a really big tradition in Gilbertville, Don Bosco, that high school. I mean, I can't remember exactly when Coach Mashik started coaching, but I want to say like 70, right around 70. And so they've been like top 5 at least since then.
Wow.
And then Tom Hogan, who was a teammate of mine, he was a senior when I was a freshman. He's the coach there now. They've won several state championships under him. So yeah, Coach Mashik was, he was the coach at Bosco when I was there, And, he's just an icon in that area. He moved away to the Davenport area years ago, but it was really, really, so I looked up to him. He's he's
the guy.
He got me. Yeah. He got me. He was really tough on you. Like, you were in great shape, and he wouldn't take any guff from you. And I look back and he taught me some really good lessons. I remember being kind of a little baby in practice several times, and he would straighten you out real quick. Or I remember, this is a Catholic school, and I remember
back when coaches could straighten you out real quick.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember being yelled at so bad I think my eyes crossed.
Yeah. So he was somebody that everybody in the community looked up to, and he really created. So I graduated 50 kids in my class, so there's about 200 in the school. You would go. Don Bosco's known for going. They travel anywhere. And they've got a huge crowd. They'll go to state tournament. They'll fill up a whole motel room or whole motel. So yeah, he was actually, one time he was the winningest high school coach in Iowa for a while. I think somebody's passed him since.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, so he's a legend. He's a legend in Iowa wrestling, and he was just a really. I was fortunate to have such a great role model as a coach. And he created a huge. It wasn't just a team. It wasn't just a team. It was a community. The whole community followed wrestling. I mean, the gym was packed. We actually had my senior year. We wrestled Michigan State in the gym at Don Bosco.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That
cool.
was something.
Well, who is the real Don Bosco?
Mr. Don Bosco. You got that from the video. Yeah, that's kind of a running joke. So Mac Ryder, he was a little bit younger than me. He went to Bosco. He went to Don Bosco, and he went to Minnesota. And I started doing these camps down in Georgia after I moved to Virginia. So I started doing some camps while I was coaching, and they got to be pretty big. And I had Mac and Cole Conrad from Minnesota come down and just work the camp one year. And Randy Lewis came down, Olympic champ, Iowa wrestler. And it was after the sessions, and we were up late, just kind of BSing and everything. And Randy Lewis, if you know Randy Lewis, he likes to stir the pot and instigate things. And so he's like, "So Mac, who's Mr. Don Bosco?" And Mac was still in school, still in college. I think he was a junior maybe. And he goes, because Mac was a 4-time state champ. He goes, "Mac, you're a 4-time state champ, but Weber's a national champ. I think national champ wins." And Mac's like, "Oh, I don't know, So then it's always just been a running thing. And
it's fun. Yeah, I heard you talking about it. It was pretty
yeah,
cool.
I was ribbing. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, this has been great. And, I set up some 10 questions, and I know we were talking about attack style wrestling. That's your business now. And so my 10 questions. So are you ready?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Let's go. So I'm on your website, Attack Style Wrestling, and I'm looking through the videos, and I'm not sure if I want to go the single leg system or the double leg series.
Oh, it just depends where you at in your career. Since you never wrestled, you better go with the double leg first and learn the fundamentals.
Okay, I'm good. I got it. And then so now I'm getting a little bit better at this, and I see some more videos on there, and I go, okay, do I go escapes and reversals or turns and pins?
Oh man, it's the same thing. Yeah, it just depends how good you are. You got to have top bottom or the bottom position. Escapes and reversals. But man, if you're a high school coach, you can win a lot. You can win a lot of dual meets and a lot of matches by getting good on top. I think top position is something that people ignore too much.
All right, so 2 good videos there, and then I'm not sure. I'm a guy, but do I go setup mastery or skills, drills, and development?
I would go skills and drills. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Ultimate takedown system or the front headlock system?
Oh man, I'm a huge front headlock guy. I think you can win. We won so many matches on front headlocks. Let's go with that. Let's anybody in front headlocks can work for your brand new kids and your defending state champs.
Awesome. All right, let's see. I have no idea, but I wrote it down. You've got another few cool videos. Do I want to learn the funk roll scramble, or do I want to learn some freestyle and Greco?
Oh man, that's like complete opposites there. I would do the freestyle and Greco.
Nice, nice. Another two amazing opportunities for you there. Great videos. Just go on the site and grab whichever one works for you. And then you've got the Fast Five complete or the advanced practice planning. Where would you start?
If you're a coach, the advanced practice planning, that's like a master class in how to run practice and build your own system and you know, the whole kit and caboodle.
Awesome. And man, you're a wrestler, but you're not really intelligent enough to understand the whole nutrition thing. So you're on Attack Wrestling and you see they've got the wrestling nutrition report, or they have like the 3-week nutrition plan. They have a couple of guides. Which one of those nutrition guides do you go with?
You broke up with me a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. So you have the wrestling nutrition reports, or you have the 3-week nutrition plan?
The thing about nutrition with high school kids is it's a struggle, and the 3-week plan is like something that you can just keep starting over until they finally get it, if they ever get it. So that's a good one. It was not too overwhelming either.
Nice. So they can learn and kind of start off something with that, and then maybe move to your bigger books and guides.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's awesome. So you also have these big systems where you can kind of get like everything in one. You've got like the standards of learning, or you have like the ultimate wrestling system.
Yeah. So the ultimate wrestling system is just like all technique. So it's all the technique that it's kind of it's a bundle of the escapes and reversals, turns and pins, takedowns, all that stuff. But it's just the technique, and then standards of learning are where I take all of that and show you how to implement it into a practice system. So it's like, hey, this is where I'd start, and then this is how I build off of it, and you know, so you don't start at the most advanced stuff. You start at the basics and build.
Awesome. Cool. And this is all cool for me to listen. And everybody out there can hear kind of what you offer on your website. That's pretty cool. And then you have some free things down there at the bottom where people can put in their email and get some free stuff to do. You've got either conditioning for wrestlers or finishing shots.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what you're looking for. I think the finishing shot one goes to one of I think that gets you a bulldog drill, which is one of my favorite drills. It's like our team's won a lot of matches because if you coach wrestling or been around wrestling in high school, you see you see so many kids go in, get in single legs, and end up on their belly, you know, face buried in the mat. The bulldog drill will help your team stop doing that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've seen that a lot.
Yeah, it's a big problem. It's a common issue, but this bulldog drill has helped a lot.
That's cool. And then another couple of free things was cool. Like, do you need to work on technique, or do you need to work on your mental toughness? So a couple of other good things there with technique or mental toughness. I'm sure you'd probably lean towards getting your mind right, I'd imagine. But
yeah, you know, that's a scale. You know, at first kids just need to learn technique a lot of times, and that mental toughness kind of comes. And a lot of the mental toughness stuff that I like, the actual instructional things are more for like match day preparation. Like how do you get your mind right throughout the day, you know, from warm up to between matches to pre-match routine to even how to, you know, if you start getting negative thoughts in the match, how do you kind of reset yourself? So Yeah, and building overall mental toughness or confidence is just a daily routine thing. It's the more, it's kind of like we were talking before you started, and you saw your son go to the Disney duels, and after so many matches, you saw something kind of click in him, right? And he started fighting a little bit harder. That's from putting time in. That's how you build confidence, is putting good time in. And pretty soon you get to a point where you start to get a little more confident, and you start to say, man, I put a lot of time in here. I got to start winning more. I want to win the close matches, and kind of that internal drive develops. It's not something that it's not something you can really like sit down in a classroom and pull out of them or teach them. It's a time thing. But yeah, a lot of the instructional stuff on mental toughness are more, here's a routine for overcoming doubt, negativity. Here's how you set a routine that you can rely on every tournament to not, you're not going to win every time maybe, but at least give your best performance. Because the worst thing is going out there and losing a match and coming off and just be like, I'm so much better than that. It's one thing to go out there and just get your tail whooped and you did everything you could. You got to get back to work when that's the case. But when you don't represent yourself, then you kind of just wasting an opportunity, wasting your time.
Yeah, well, like I said, I went on to Attack Wrestling, and anybody out there, he's got something for you. Whether you need to work on single legs or double legs, escapes and reversals, techs and pins, turns and pin. We've got it all right there on his Attack Wrestling. So I just wanted to go over that. I thought that would be cool for my 10 questions. People can kind of hear what you have on there if they haven't had it. Please feel free to jump onto Ward Wrestling Live into the comment feed and post a link to your site if you'd like to. Jump into the private group, have conversations with anybody if you'd like. It's my pleasure. What's mine is yours. So enjoy it.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on, and it's just awesome. It's what an opportunity to meet you. So that's.
I appreciate you having me on. This is good stuff. Keep it up. You're cranking out a lot of content, and people need it. It's a great resource.
Yeah, and it's been good for me to learn and kind of just get better. I can't wait to see how I react better as a parent, and like when he's wrestling. There's probably things I won't say or yell anymore. There's probably, just from learning, like, one of the refs had told me to go on and kind of NFHS and do like the referee thing that was free. And I went on there, and it kind of, I learned more. Oh, that's why they make those calls. Oh, that's why they make those. So like when I'm yelling, I thought shoulders had to touch, not the thing here. So when I would see stuff, I was like, he wasn't pinned. Now I know. And he was probably pinned, but so little by little, I'm
learning.
I'm learning. Yeah, I'm getting my education. So it's been fun. Well, hey, good luck to you, and keep doing your thing. And I hope we can keep in touch.
Yeah. Good luck to you too. And I appreciate it. Keep it going.
Thank you, sir. You have a great day.
You too. Take care.